Hey guys, I really wasn't going to do a video on this because I didn't think it was going to amount to very much, but starting to get things apart, I think it's in a little worse shape than I thought. This is the PTO housing off of my the mighty 45, and anyway, I've had trouble with this a couple of times. My main trouble with it has been the gasket, where this housing seals to the bottom of the transmission. And the first time I had trouble with it, originally this just had, long straight nuts on it, but it didn't have any lock washers. And at least that's how it was when I got the tractor. And after a while it started leaking, and what I found was that those nuts had all backed off from the studs. They're 3/8 fine thread down here. So I took it apart. Well, the first time I just snugged up the nuts and it stopped leaking. Well, then it vibrated loose again, and I couldn't just put lock nuts on it, or lock washers, because a lot of these, there's not enough room without dropping the housing off. There's not enough room to get the nuts off of the studs. So the next time it vibrated loose, it actually compromised the gasket and it started leaking. So I replaced the gasket that time, and I thought, I'll fix this. I'll put metal lock nuts on here. Well, I did that, and then the studs started vibrating out of the housing. So this time we're going to Loctite the studs in. But I'm doing a little more inspection here too, and that is the cross shaft that goes up here that this gear and needle bearings ride on. And as you can tell, that's pretty rough. Needle bearings don't look bad, but some of the rollers don't feel real good. And in addition, we've got this. So I think she needs to come apart a little farther. Okay, so I'm underneath of the tractor right now trying to get a better look at this. This is actually the intermediate gear that goes from the main shaft to drive the power takeoff. And I mean, you can see it and you can feel it pretty well on this gear. There's some pretty significant wear on that gear as well. Now, getting this out of there would have been a lot easier probably before I put the engine back in, because I would have had to remove the bell housing and the torque tube, and then you can remove that pin, or that keeper pin, and pull that shaft out. So I'm not real sure what I'm going to do here. This is going to require some thought. Okay, so it's been a few days. I've got a new flange gasket. I found 2 new old stock bearings. These are from A&W Tractor, where I got my the rear main seal for my the engine. And then what we're going to do about this, we're going to, because I can't find this, I'm going to make a new shaft. So this is a piece of 01 tool steel drill rod. This is a 1-inch diameter shaft. This is 1 1/16 right now. So I'm going to put that in the lathe, turn it down. I'm going to leave it about 15 thousandths or so big, and then we're going to flame harden it, and we'll set the tool post grinder up, and we will grind that to finish. I decided for the time being I'm not going to mess with any of the gears. I'm going to run the gears that came out of it. So yeah, I can find the gear that goes up inside of the housing. That one I can buy new. The others I think I'm going to have to find good used gears, but to do that one you've got to split the tractor, and I'm not interested in doing that right now. So yeah, that's where we're headed with this. Okay, so we've got our machine work done. I'm actually making 2 of these, just to be on the safe side, because I don't trust myself. So we've got them turned. They're about 15 thousandths oversized right now on the diameter. The length is finished. The Woodruff key slot is finished. So now we get to heat treat these. I think I said earlier, this is oil hardening tool steel, and we're going to flame harden this with a torch. So for that you need a torch, you need a cheap pair of pliers that you don't care about, and you need some oil. Now this is just used motor oil. You want it in a metal can, not a plastic can. And we're going to do this outside, just for a risk of fire. So this could get exciting. Hopefully it doesn't, but yeah, let's see how this goes. Stand back, cat. The type of steel that you're heat treating will determine how hot it needs to get. Some steels need to get hotter than others. Oil hardening tool steel needs to be, I think it's 1400 to 1500 degrees. I don't have a way to measure that, so what we're looking for is not like a bright orange color, but like a more of a low red color, or as it's starting to glow red, we want it just a little bit hotter than that. It's hard to get it even heat because you've got such a small flame, and your pliers will steal a lot of the heat from the part where you're holding it too. But that's what we're going for. We'll get it up to temperature and then try to hold it there for a minute or so to make sure it's warm all the way through, and then we'll drop it in the oil. Try not to miss the can. I warmed up the oil. The oil is around 200 degrees right now. That's about where you want it. I've done it with room temperature oil, but it's in the 40s this morning, and I think it's too cold for that, so I warmed up the oil first. Like I said, you want to not use a real nice expensive pair of pliers for this, because your pliers get it almost as hot as the steel does out at the end where you're holding it, and that will void the warranty on any nice pliers. Okay, we're starting to glow. I don't know how well you can see that. I think that's about as hot as we want to get. We've got kind of a, see how well you can see, it's definitely got a glow to it, but it's not bright orange yet. And when you drop it in the oil, you want to just drop it. You do not want to try to hold on to it. Because if you do, you will catch the oil on fire. Don't ask me how I know that. Okay, so I'm going to let it cool off a little bit. But before I do, I just want to see, out of curiosity, what the oil temperature is right now. Yep, it went from 200 to 466, and it's actually been in there for a couple minutes, so it's probably lost a little bit of temperature from where it started. So yeah, we'll let that cool down for a little while, and then we'll pull it out, and we'll be, once it's all the way cool, then we'll be ready to continue with this project. Okay, first test fit of the new pin. Goes in. Feels fairly snug. I had a little bit of taper in it. It still does. It's slightly smaller at, slightly smaller at this end than it is at this end, but I think it will be good enough. Well, I've finally got the gearbox back together. I didn't video putting it back together. Not really much to see, just slide it back together, put 3 bolts in there, and then slide the pin in here. Basically it's just held, there's nothing that holds it in. The key keeps it from going too far that way, and the transmission housing keeps it from coming out the back. So I'm not going to video putting this back on the tractor, partly because the power just went off and I kind of want to still get it on, so I'm gonna get my flashlight out and get a clean piece of cardboard and see if I can get it back on here this evening. We've still got daylight outside. So yeah, see if I can get this back together tonight. Let there be light. Thanks, I&M. Well, it's finally back on there. I don't have oil in the transmission yet. I did put some sealer on that gasket, so I'm going to let it cure overnight and put oil in it tomorrow after work. But I'm going to call this video here because honestly I've been working on pieces of this video for about the last 3 weeks and I'm kind of tired of it, so I'm ready to move on to something else. So anyway, I'm not going to video this, but I do need to take the power steering back apart again and replace the O-rings in it again because it's leaking quite profusely again. So anyway, if you're still here after this another marathon video, thank you for watching, and be safe out there, and hope you all have a good one.